Sort of diagonally across that nobody really went for these other gambles to go to that northern circle.
Yeah, I mean,
all right, here you go. We've got Brazilian Crusaders walking right up next to Envy. That grenade could be pretty good to take down Terror. Yes, it's going to roll right over there next to the car and flush him out. So it's going to be Venerated playing along this hillside. Brazilian Crusaders still trying to make their way up and forward, but you can see Raspu is down. Rusty Zero is trying to take some shots back over towards Pat Caps, but it's getting very violent along this hillside. This is kind of a bridge camp set to wait, and whoever wins here can maybe catch a couple of points on rotation.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like Entus Force's rotation here. They were very aggressive early on in this northerly rotation. It could pay off as they could be the ones to gatekeep other teams. Oh, Leo once again getting another knock onto a member of Incognito. The Bluebees trying to rotate here, but they've got Envy to their south and Winstrike to their north. They're trying to drive that vehicle up the hill and taking a little bit of damage as they go, but oh my goodness, Insight gets ripped off his bike by Mikaz.
There are just way too many people for the BBs to try to make a push up this direction. You can see Sato's already down. Brazilian's just trying to make it over towards this building, but Winstrike is not going to allow it. Tiksu actually goes down in exchange on the other side of this. Brazilian now kind of in a 1v1 situation. The Bluebees are coming alive on the backside of Winstrike, getting a down on a flush as well. So now we're going to have to see how this goes through. It's going to be team just walking right up into this, gets the down onto Brazilian.
Right, two members of Winstrike in here not wanting to give up this combo, but what a grenade from Lively. A great knock onto Nookie. Now ENCE is getting in on this, so KR10 has to back off.
ENCE just steps up right back behind this. The grenades are going to land right down on the BBs. That's going to take them down. So with this, ENCE getting in a strong position to look back down towards Winstrike. They spot him out, and it's just flush and damage is galore just raining down upon them. Just one member, I believe, up and alive for Winstrike.
Absolute hell raining down here onto Winstrike. Teme, the last one standing in this compound. What a nice push here by ENCE. And 17, just doing an excellent job managing so many angles.
Here we go. Here's the flank coming out from Moody, and that is going to get the down onto Rust and Mar. Going to get the flush as well. Tripoli Mika's trying to make a little bit of a retreat, playing along these trees. Not a lot of cover. You can see smoke already coming down. Nerf is trapped out inside the blue by 17 Gaming. He's just trying to connect with what he can, but it's going to be Profi assisting from that other angle we saw just a second ago.
Yeah, this blue zone really hurts. Nerf forced to use a med kit here to try and stay alive. Grenades coming in. Mika's in a lot of trouble. A great grenade from Venerated.
This is no good for ENCE. Trefeli is in a bad spot right now as it's just going to be Envy continuing the push. You can see that Squeaky has already opted to leave the fight. Tripoli's the last guy playing around this position, but Envy doesn't have a clear sight line on him, just to the curve of the hill.
Yeah, Squeaky here laying down, trying to buy some time. YY annihilating Cloud9 here. That'll be Cloud9 out in 13th place. 17 continuing to just rack up kill after kill here today. So this is kind of not what you want from the two Indonesian teams.
All right, so we've got AW7 that's at the top of the hill and one member of AW1 that's just hiding inside of a shack. OMG is looking back over towards Force right now. A couple of grenades going back and forth between them. OMG not netting a kill yet. Incognito is getting closer and closer to AW7 as well. Wants to participate inside of this fight and does manage to get the down onto one of them.
Great shooting there from Ronan. Waikikamuka was brought back up here, so they were able to get the res. They continue to rotate to the south here, but now Incognito is in a lot of trouble. Envy still looking to push on their backside. Meanwhile, OMG fighting Entus Force. A nice grenade from Sungjang. Coming in, Silent gets knocked. Another grenade. Will it connect with Clouds? No, it just bounces into the smoke. Nobody's in there, though.
Silent is still just playing along that hill, trying to crawl over, and you can see everybody on Force knows exactly where OMG is at. This is a very hazardous push off to one side. Meanwhile, we still have the Incognito fight that's going. Yak, a nice flank down around the outside of the smoke, spots out one of them, gets it down onto it, tries to go back over, and that is just a ton of OMG members getting destroyed off of that flank.
Spectacular flank by Yak, confirming with Songjang as well, those last two kills onto OMG, and that'll be OMG out in 10th place, and their hopes continue to be dashed here today.
Incognito making the push. Here we go. Avo gets a side onto one of them, trying to go for the flush, but the tree is just going to eat up all of that damage. Aerowolf 7 gets eliminated. Incognito still making the push off to the side of it. They still have Envy that's just chasing back behind them. This has been going on for almost 700 meters. You can see Incognito up on your top left of the screen, and it's just Envy constantly chasing back behind them.
Yeah, Envy just relentless with this push. Incognito doing a great job to survive as long as they have. They've got Aerowolves in front of them. There's only one member left here. Waikikamuka does get knocked by Entus Force Kale, so even more teams now taking shots at them.
And here it comes. Envy Envy finally catches up, gets the down back onto him, but it's going to be Force taking some hot shots back over towards Envy. They want to continue the push, but it's going to be Force that's just holding them back right now, forcing them to play along those trees.
Yeah, Kale looking to see if he can land some shots onto Envy here. Nothing quite doing yet. Some nice shots, but nothing landing here. Envy starting to push up, and I believe that will be Incognito wiped out in 8th place.
Just continuing pushing down. AW1 still has that one guy hanging out in the shack. So with this, we actually still have HQ that's finally being forced to reposition out of it. But you know what's kind of funny about that? 2 crates are landing right over there next to him. The other side of the circle has just been totally quiet. It's all about these pushes coming down from Force and Envy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's basically been a battle on the western side of the circle. The eastern side has been pretty quiet. And RDK does get a knock onto Moody. So 2 members up here for Envy. 1 member knocked. RDK trying to hide out. And okay, now the battle begins between AHQ and the Crusaders.
HQ has the high ground advantage. Brazilian Crusaders are trying to make their way up onto it. Oh, Winstrike trying to make the cross on it. Somehow he is still alive. Narrowly makes it back behind that tree, but here come the grenades, and that looks like that's going to connect just a little bit on the backside of it. Not going to do enough damage as the med kit does come through, but he is in a ton of trouble, and there you go. Winstrike is eliminated in 6th place.
Nice job there by the members of AHQ to make sure their flank is clear. AHQ starting to regroup, grabbing some of the items. Oh, that grenade though!
That's going to force Venerated back around the other side, but look, the other one lands right at his feet. I don't think he knows, and he gets knocked off of that. RDK is still just holding down this angle. He's just got a little fortress back up that hillside.
This is really impressive stuff here from RDK. He's out of frag grenades now, though, so he's going to have to rely on that SLR. Kale still trying to find some shots onto Envy. He's been hearing all these grenades and shots and just can't quite find an angle yet, but once that smoke runs out, he might be able to see RDK.
Force has themselves a good position. They have sight lines on 2 different teams at the moment. Circle's going to shift over, going to favor them to a certain degree. Most of the teams should be able to make it in quite nicely, but it's about cover positions starting to go away at this stage. It's all about playing along these different angles with the hill. Envy really can't make their way forward. RDK is just an absolute thorn in their side. He's the last member up for his team, but they just can't go anywhere.
Oh, and now SR looking to try to land some shots with that M24 onto Envy. Envy, everyone has heard them, everyone has seen them. They are completely surrounded here from every angle, the center, the west, the north. It is just very dire for them.
It's exactly like you're saying. AHQ and Brazilian Crusaders, they kind of step up at each other and they take a couple of shots here and there, but really it's this continued fight. Both of those other teams know where Force is at. They know that RDK is in a position. They know where Envy is. So they just kind of separate it out and are letting these other teams just destroy each other, and they're just going to try to pick off the remnants.
Yeah, absolutely. Entus Force here already in the top 8 for today, but they need some extra points to really bolster themselves, to really buffer themselves, to give themselves a chance to get through to tomorrow.
And you can see how little cover remains inside of the circle and what we were talking about, where Envy just doesn't have a lot of places they can go. They've got a couple of trees that they can maybe make it over to, but it's just going to be jumping from one to the other. HQ's looking back down towards them, and you can see that's going to be Envy getting eliminated there. Somehow RDK manages to out-survive everybody that was around him for so long.
Yeah, massive props to RDK. He's doing a great job picking up some extra points for his team. They're another team that's in the top 8, but here we go. The Crusaders are pushing up onto AHQ. Confirmed kill onto K3. Grenades coming out here from Rogi and other members of AHQ.
I absolutely love this. Brazilian Crusaders were aware of it. Oh, there goes the hero RDK finally getting eliminated. But Brazilian Crusaders heard AHQ take those shots at Envy, realized that they might be distracted, and now slowly creeping up the hillside right next to him, denying vehicles, denying anything that they can potentially take away from them.
Well, I think this has got to be go time here for Entus Force. They need kills and points to secure their place in the top 8. They already know that these 2 teams are fighting. They're wounded, they're weak, they're really damaged, so they need to get in on this, I think.
They're trying to separate out and around, but look at this. Winner making a nice little rotation around Brazilian Crusaders, forcing them to either contend with them or Entus Force. So now shots are starting to come back from Yak onto one angle, and here you go. Winner's trying to hold this angle. CC goes down inside of this exchange, but it's just going to have to be a continued retreat. Rusty Zero is aware that he got the damage off, trying to take the shots after Winner, but it's just too risky, as now is whenever Entus Force is coming alive, just tearing them apart from the other angle.
Entus Force suffocating these 2 teams, completely surrounding them, cutting them off from the rest of the circle. You can see Sungjung pushing up the right-hand side. Kale up on the left. AHQ with 2 members. BRC with 1 member left. Rusty Zera trying to throw down the smoke to get the res onto his teammate, but it's going to be really difficult.
Here we go. Force has the angle to play around. SR is making the push. He's trying to get the flank back around, pushing over into this, but you can see Rusty Zera still trying to make the play off to one side, but Entus Force is just unrelenting as Crusaders go down. We have 2 teams left with 6 alive, and there are a ton of Force members up, but SR gets a nice flank and a flush onto 1. Now we are down to a 2v3. Kenny manages to pick up another one. No, Indigo takes a lot of damage, but there we go. We're going back and forth with it, but it does not matter in the end as OGN Entus Force manages to walk away with 11 kills.
A huge game here for Entus Force. They were so close to the other teams, hovering around that 8th position, and they are able to secure a huge chicken dinner, 11 kills, so that's 22 points for them in that round. That is a nice buffer for them.
AHQ, man, they got a lot of circle favor inside of that, but they really started to come alive towards the end. Brazilian Crusaders were just running around everywhere, coming up with their 3rd place spot. AW1 though, only 1 kill with RDK. But good lord, how long did he hold back Envy and just stop everything that they were trying to do?